So I just asked Grok how many or like what percentage of the electorate actually voted for reform in these local elections. And guess what? It's about 12% at most of people voted reform. This is what happens all the time in elections, due to low voter turnout. We end up with someone who we didn't really want. They get the most votes, sure, but most people don't vote in these elections. So, like, that is the real problem here. But people need to be more politically engaged. There's this pervasive kind of apathy with politics that politics can change nothing. It can only make things worse. Politicians are all venal and out for themselves, and we need I think a better class of politician. We need better people to get into politics. I don't deny that at all. But we also need more people to be politically engaged and trying to improve their communities and wanting to lead lives of public service. And more people should vote and recognize that our right to vote is a hard-won civil liberty. And I'm a total hypocrite, really, because I didn't vote in these elections. I thought it was kind of pointless. I didn't want to vote against the Lib Dems. I was perfectly happy with the Lib Dems winning, so I thought I'd leave that aside. And it's only a local election, obviously, anyway. I've never not voted in a general election, but I treat with deep mistrust anyone like Russell Brand, for instance, who comes out saying that we shouldn't vote, that we should boycott politics. But what we end up with in that situation is not democracy. It is minority rule. It is the rule of a small group of determined, committed people. And likewise, in the 2024 election, Reform got less than 10% of the popular vote. They got 4 million votes, and 4 million people is a lot of people. And that is a powerful voting bloc indeed. But it by no means represents the opinions and beliefs of the majority. Not at all. Most people are not racist. For example, most people don't want to see our 4 million Muslims removed from the country. But then again, a lot of people do. And a lot of the people commenting on my channel, for instance, they want to see that as well. I had a comment on my channel saying millions must go, and they misspelled millions. And we got 2 likes from people who think like that. And these are the people who are constantly online. These are the keyboard warriors. These are the fanatics who are pursuing this at all costs and will like anything that's reform inflected. And a lot of these accounts are based in Nigeria and so on, and are just paid money to like content and to make it seem more popular and to make it seem as though, and it's the same thing with the Cambridge Analytica scandal and Brexit. Yeah, it's that stuff over and over again. It's this trying to dominate social media platforms, to manipulate algorithms, to make it seem as though they're the biggest, most powerful group. And if they seem like the biggest, most powerful group, then people will join them. And that is the recipe for how we slip into totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is not the rule of the majority. It is minority rule, usually. The Nazis ended up taking over by force as the Night of the Long Knives and the Reichstag fire and all these sorts of things. And then eventually they came to dominate in their parliament, and it was you know uh, only 10% of the German population at its height in 1945 were members of the Nazi Party. It was by no means a majority movement. It was minority rule again. And we call this democracy. This is not democracy. This is bending to gangs of thugs. And we cannot do that as a civilized, humane society. We need to exercise the will of the majority. And that means proportional representation, fixing our broken voting system, and more coalition governments like they have in Germany currently, you know, and to really represent the will of the people and to seek compromise and to, not go towards any particular extremes, but occupy a center of sensible politics that most people could agree with. I think that's probably the best road forward. But this reform stuff, if Nigel Farage wins the next election, I'll leave the country. Well, I don't know. I might not. I might stay here and see what happens. But I mean, I'm a disabled person, so perhaps I'll be one of the worst affected, and actually I would turn into a refugee of, leaving Britain. But very scary stuff. It is. It's happened before. It can happen again. I don't think in the minds of most people we've moved much beyond the evolutionary state of humans who were alive in the 1930s. I think we've gone deeply backwards in Britain, and we're now entertaining fascism. And we can't do that. It will hurt us on so many levels. It would be good for us in the long run, I think. After whatever atrocities have been committed, I think there will be yet another period of human flourishing. But that is not what's going on at the moment, though. What's going on at the moment is the decline into fascism, and the media trying to present a reformed government as an inevitability. And well, I don't think we can have that and remain a decent, respectable society. But no one listens to me, so who cares? And thank you for watching.